According to Maria Isabel Toledo in 2012, identity is not something fixed or given from birth. It is a permanent construction. The subject builds himself in constant interaction with the world he inhabits, creating meanings about his environment. Kashad in 1999 adds a key idea that goes that identity is always built in relation to an environment and to others. It answers two big questions: where am I, our relationship to the environment, and who am I, our relationship to others. So, identity is never something we build alone, it depends on how others recognize us.
This brings us to recognition. As Charles Taylor puts it, recognition is not only a courtesy we owe to other people, it is a human necessity. So, if identity is built in relation to others, then the way others recognize us becomes part of who we are. And when that recognition is distorted or even denied to us, a false identity can be imposed on a person or even a whole group. As the communication and power material explains, through communication strategies, it's possible to impose certain knowledge as legitimate. So, which actors and structural conditions influence how an identity is constructed? Well, there are several of them. For instance, the family and close community, which is our first source of recognition, as well as institutions such as school, religion, and the government. The media and dominant discourse as well, which spread ideas about who is normal or dangerous. And structural conditions like poverty, legal status, language, and nationality. Foucault calls this process the power of discourse. It produces truths, deciding who is normal or abnormal, who is admitted and who is not.
So now we're going to talk about the vulnerable group that we choose is migrants traveling through Mexico, mainly from Venezuela, Honduras, Guatemala, Colombia, and Ecuador. A false identity is when people are judged by labels that are not true. Are those labels affect how they are treated? So this is a major issue. Between 2019 and early 2025, around 16 million migrants traveled through Mexico, making it one of the largest migration movements in recent years. Many migrants are given false identities such as criminals. Many people believe migrants are linked to crime, even to migrant that is not in crime. This stereotype creates fear and discriminations. Also, illegal people with no rights. Calling someone illegal makes it like it seems like they do not deserve a respect or protection. But every person has basic human rights. Everyone. And last one, a burden on the economy. In reality, many migrants contribute to the economy. For example, Venezuela migrants generate hundreds of millions of dollars for the economy of Peru and Ecuador because they come to their country to work. So, in conclusion, today more migrants see Mexico as a place to live instead of only a country that they pass through. However, many people still see them as a threat, even though the image is not true.
These false identities have real severe consequences. Let me give two with data. Consequence one, extreme violence and invisibility. Because migrants are seen as less than or illegal, they become easy targets. La Fundación para la Justicia documented that in 2025, of the violent incidents recorded against migrants in transit, almost 42% involved kidnappings and over 14% involved disappearances, with at least 1,171 victims identified in a single year. ProPublica reported that by 2024, nearly every migrant crossing a Ciudad Hidalgo without a smuggler was kidnapped. Consequence 2. Institutional abuse and self-hatred. The false criminal identified justifies mistreatment. Mexican authorities carried out almost 830,000 migrant detentions between January and July 2024 alone, the highest ever recorded, Human Rights Watch 2025. And as our materials warn, sometimes people even adopt their false identity and interiorize self-hatred, which is why the imposition of a false identity becomes a strong weapon of oppression. Conclusion. How can false identities be eradicated? Not just by being respectful, the materials remind us that moral struggles are struggles to change the connotative meaning of words. We propose two concrete actions tied to migrants. The first one is critical thinking in communication and media. Actively challenge the word illegal in the migrant criminal frame. Practically, support and share reporting from organizations like the IOM and Fundación para la Justicia that show migrants as workers and families, and push media literacy in schools. Action 2. Access to legal regularization and identity documents. A structural fix. Expand programs like the IOM supported regularization of migration paperwork in Mexico so migrants gain legal recognition and can work formally, which the IOM shows strengthens the whole local economy. And as Toledo reminds us, identity is a permanent construction, which means false identities can be rebuilt into real ones.